You're enjoying this now as much as you possibly can and that you're doing well. So I'm Jane. This is Body, Mind, Spirit, and I'm excited about this one. I always am. I just want to thank you so much for tuning in and checking this out. Please feel free to leave comments down below. Feel free to subscribe to Promise Resource Network's YouTube channel if you haven't already. And then you can hit the little notification button and then you can get notified whenever we post something new, which is pretty cool. So, um, I was thinking today about the 8 dimensions of wellness, which just really they resonate for me so much. Like if we really like leave one of them on the back burner too long, then I feel like our life gets really out of balance. And so the dimension of wellness that I want to talk about on Body, Mind, Spirit is the physical. And yeah, I want to talk about the physical and not just the body, but the physical dimension of wellness. Um, one, that's what matters. It's literally it's the matter of it. Little physics joke. um, but it's true. And I have my growing up process. I'll share a story. So my growing up process, I was always a really big kid. I was always a really strong kid. I was the kid that like would help and do with the yard work and these things. And I think for my age, that's not really that uncommon, although I feel like it's really uncommon for kids these days. I find that interesting. Anyway, so and I remember my dad was like really like physically fit. Like he was always going to the gym, working out, um, counting calories, all these things, and whether it was healthy or not, that's just what it was. And so I was just really active. I've been really active for most of my life, and I don't think I necessarily like looked like I was as physically active as I was. Um, there was also a big chunk of my life where I wasn't very physically active. Um, and there was also a time when I was really physically active and I was just gaining weight. It was so nuts, y'all. Um, you know what else is nuts? You can't see it, but I have got like an arm of mosquito bites. I have like four just right here in this area. I have like one or two on my elbow and then like another one. And it's so interesting because it's so many that it's hot. Like, ow. Anyway, I don't know what happened. Just my elbow. Anyhow, so anyway, so what I've noticed about myself recently is, well, I guess it was a couple years ago. Um, I was on my pattern of physical stuff, and I had an injury, and it's it's almost like it's still um lingering. Like the injury itself isn't lingering because I ended that relationship. It's true. But like the my physical exertion, my amount of time that I would go hiking or running or biking or working out or whatever, I would do it all the time. And then it was during COVID season where my body was like, I can't do this right now. And so I had a really hard time walking. It was really, really, really painful. I was seeking a lot of physical support and I would get some relief, but I was in a lot of pain. And and so now I'm like, okay, I'm ready. I want to do it. I want to like get active again. And and I've always been one to like dance. Like I've held ecstatic dances, and so dancing has been a part of my movement. Yoga has been a part of my movement. I love to walk, And so like I'm still mobile, but I haven't been disciplined. I haven't been as disciplined in my movement. And um and I'm noticing that when I see other people that are disciplined and their bodies are reflecting that discipline because they're not hobbling or they're not in pain or they're physically able to do the things. There's a part of me that feels a little, I don't want to, it's not jealous, but it's almost like I'm happy for them. And there's this part that's like, meh, about myself. So it's like I can get a little like in comparison. And when I get into that space of comparing, like, oh, well, they're doing it, they're going out running or they're going out hiking or they're going out, they're lifting all the weights, they're kickboxing and I want to do that. Um, but maybe my body just physically can't yet again or whatever. Um, or I can, it's just limited. And it plays it takes a toll on me. And so I share this because the physical dimension of wellness is so important. And for me, sometimes when it's like if I'm not physically active, then my mood changes. I get down, I get sad, I get more uncomfortable in my body. It's like, I don't know, it's like she's tired or she's worn out. But I'm like, but you haven't done anything. She's like, I know, I don't have any muscle left or whatever. I mean, I got muscle, but I'm sharing this because this physical dimension of our health and our wellness is really important. Um, because it affects our mental, it affects our spirit, it affects our energy, like, um, had a lot of work to do today and fun work. And so I'm like on the computer, do, 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 do. And I was like, okay, I can keep going. And then my body was like, girl, get outside. You're at the beach. Go. And I was like, and then I started to make excuses. But I need to do this. I need to get this done. I'm almost done. And I need to make this other phone call. I need to do this email thing. And so my mind started to like play tricks on me. My mind was telling me that not to listen to my body. My mind was telling me to only listen to it so we can check off the things on the to-do list. And I'm like, but wait a minute, my body is on the to-do list. Like my body and its health and the physical dimension of the wellness, that is on my to-do list, right? Like if we have a to-do list and it's just 8 things on this to-do list to pay attention to, and it's all the things on the 8 dimensions of wellness where every day we just pay a little attention, a little love, a little focus to each of them. Check, check, check. I think that the world would literally be such a better place. Um, and so I was like, well then, yeah, no, I'm not gonna, thank you, mind. And yeah, I'm gonna go to the beach. So I went down to the beach and um, got in the ocean and just had a beautiful time. And I think I saw a shark. I mean, it was something that was under the water and it had a fin sticking out, and it wasn't a dolphin. So I'm gonna say it was a shark. But it was so cool because the ocean was like super blue today, like super blue, like teal blue. And so when the waves were crashing, if if it didn't pick up a lot of the sand in it, because the sand here has some black sand in it, for it's yeah, it has some black sand to it because of the lava, because it's like a bajillion volcanoes here. So so like half the wave would be like the turned up sand, and the other half, the top half, would be this like cerulean blue, this like teal blue color that you could see through. So the wave would come up and start to crash. And so I saw this shark baby, like I saw it go like in the wave and like went over before the wave crashed. And I was like, yo, no, I kept watching it. And I was just having a delightful time. I was just having such a good time at myself out there. And And that's what I needed. That was the physical that I needed today. Was to get out there, go for a walk, get in the water, have my experience with the ocean and come back, wash my hair. And then I laid down. Then I took a rest. I took a 20-minute rest. I set my timer for an hour. 20 minutes later, I was like, I'm ready. Okay, I guess that's all I needed. So I share this because, um, we all have different bodies and we all have different physical strengths and we all have different physical limitations. And it's really easy to let the mind dictate the physical. So it's really easy for me to let my mind be like, nah, girl, let me do this work thing instead. And I used to be the person where my mind would say, I don't care what else you need to do. We got to go out there and run. We got to go work out. We got to go work out. Like, no, 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 don't clean your house. Don't do laundry. Doesn't matter what all you need to do, Jane. You need to work out. So my mind would play tricks on me then too. So for me, I get to find a new balance, a new relationship with how much physical health I work with, because I want to pay attention to that every day. Every day I want to have some form of prayer and meditation. Every day I want to drink water. Every day I want to have some type of social interaction, whether it's with a dog or a friend or a phone call with somebody. Like I want to have a social interaction. Every day I choose to look at my finances, whether it's I count the money in my wallet or I just go into my checking account on the bank and just take a look at everything. Like I give it some type of attention. You know, I feel that this physical thing for me, because I've been on the pendulum so far swung on super workout, a little obsessive about it, to don't work out because I'm completely injured or I was experiencing my unhealthy relationship with alcohol or drugs or food, and addictions in the form of distractions like TV. And so I'm like really coming into a new balance so that when I wherever I go after here, I can hold this pattern. Like nothing stops me from creating an altar. Everywhere I go, I have an altar. I set up an altar and I visit the altar and I just connect with Great Spirit and the ancestors and the elements. And I'm just like, yo, team and light, thanks for having my back. Thanks for guiding me, right? Like whatever that is for me. So, and I used to be that way with my physical, but I think I got too much that way. And so I think that's one of the reasons I had the injuries that I've had is because my body was like, bitch, you better stop. And so now I'm at a point where I'm trying to find a balance, all that to say. So I'm sharing this because I feel like by me sharing this, it helps me stay accountable on some level. Um, and I also feel like you all support me, um, just energetically and like holding a vision that I'm holding myself accountable and doing it in joy, not like, oh, I have to work out today, but like I get to like when I was down at the ocean, that was something that happened. Like, you know, I think I may have been down there for I don't know, an hour max. It was also like, yeah, it was an hour because it was noon. Of course, I go down 8 degrees from the equator at noon. That's how you know that like I am totally okay with sunshine. Like I'm okay with sunshine. Anyway, but while I was in the ocean, I was like crying in gratitude for being in the ocean. I was like, oh my God, it's noon on a whatever day today is, and I get to be in the ocean. I get to feel these waves pushing me and the sand moving under my feet and the sun really toasty on my back. And I was just so elated that I got to. And every time I allow myself to do something physically that whether it's physically exerting myself or um, going somewhere new or just doing something with my body that she's been like, I really want to do that. I feel really good. I feel a lot of gratitude, right? And that helps my spirit out. It helps my energy out. Like, was it last night? Yeah, last night. I rolled out my yoga mat and I did some yoga and ended up yoga and then dancing and yoga and dancing and just kind of like whatever my body was wanting to do, I did it. And I was like, "Oh, that felt good." It's starting to rain, I think. It's a very interesting right now. I know, conversation with Flash. But it's like the sun is setting, but it's really bright, like you can see, but it keeps going behind the clouds. And I think that I might be hearing thunder. It's so interesting. So it's like the lighting is very up and down, and I didn't think about putting the overhead light on because the sun was beaming, and I actually had to shut the curtain a little bit. Anyway, so my desire that I'm sharing is to put on my list of commitments every day with the devotion that I have to other things that I'm committed to every day. Be moving my body in a way that isn't necessarily just passive stretching because I did that for a long time. It was all I could do. And so that's easy for me now. I just drop into stretching and I feel like my body needs it. But what I'm noticing is I need strength, and I need to move my body in different ways. And so, anyway, so that's what I'm sharing today is like, I am in a space and I'm inviting you all to join me, like whatever it is that you do with your body physically, can you add a little something that just feels like you pushed yourself a little bit, like, y- but you feel good that you pushed yourself. Like I pushed myself today to go to the beach because I had other things that I told myself I needed to do. So if pushing yourself is lifting weights, like maybe you're like, I love to walk, but I don't like to lift weights. Well, then maybe push yourself to get some light weights and just lift some weights, or if you're, all about the weights and you're like, I am such a strong beefcake. I invite you to push yourself and try yoga, try stretching. If you only go to a gym, I invite you to push yourself and go for a walk outside or go hike outside or go kayaking outside. Um, if you've if that's been your jam, right, where you're like super outdoorsy and you're like you're walking and you're climbing and you're doing all of that, well then my invitation is to try dancing. So like whatever it is that you physically do, my invitation for all of us is to try to add and incorporate something new in. Because here's the thing with that, what it does for the mind is it heals our brain, basically. And I define healing as facilitating a positive change in ourself or others. So, not that it's broken, it's just it feels better. So, that's healing to me. But when we do a new physical activity, when we push ourselves outside of this comfort zone in our physical, we create new neural pathways in our mind. We learn new things. And when we learn new things in our brain, um, energy moves through our brain in a different way. Blood, if you will, moves through, like our brain fluids move through differently because we're activating new parts of our brain. And it could be something that maybe you've done before, but it's been a really long time. Maybe you used to dance and you haven't danced, you know, whatever it is. If you even you know what I like to do is I like to write with, so I'm typically right-handed, but every time I have an opportunity to use my left hand at something, I use my left hand at something. Writing, I mean, not like a letter to somebody, but if I'm just like doodling or drawing or writing, whatever, I'll use my left hand. If I'm playing tennis, I hit with my right hand, I switch tennis racket onto my left. Frisbee, right handed, I switch to my left. Brushing my teeth, I switch from my right hand to my left. When I'm brushing my teeth, I'll stand on one foot. I just stand on one foot so I can get a balance and then I switch sides. So when we do these new physical things, we not only help our brain, but we start to fire new muscles in our body. So, in the example of me standing on one foot, well, I'm now activating all these muscles, the stirrup muscle that goes around the bottom of the foot, the ankles up to the knee. I'm strengthening up my hips, my hip flexors. I am strengthening up my core. I'm literally strengthening up my whole body by standing on one foot while I brush my teeth. But oftentimes we get very lazy in our patterns with our bodies. And I see this with people that are really active. This was me when I was really active. I got habitual with my movements. I would run and do yoga, and that was it. That wasn't enough. When I added, then I ran and did strength training. That was great, but it wasn't enough. I needed yoga. So for me, like the trinity was when I had strength, um, cardio, I'll say, and yoga, because they're all going to build on each other. Like they're all going to have balance and lengthening and stretching and strengthening and all that stuff. But it was when I did all of them that I felt like really with it, with my mind, my energy was a lot better. Um, that's why right now, like, I'm not doing the same thing every day. I'm not doing the same thing every time every day. Today was this afternoon. Yesterday was in the evening. The day before that, I took a really long walk on the beach, you know? And so I'm giving myself variety and I'm not allowing myself to ignore this dimension of wellness. And I'm also not getting OCD about it because that's been a pattern of my own. I get like really focused. And and there's a part of me, in fact, I thought about this. I was like, I want to start like a training program. I want to do like, I don't know, some like when I started running, I did this thing called the Couch to 5K, and it was you would build up your distance and time of running until you ran a 5K. And that was great. I was committed to that. Every day I was like, this is what I have to do. This is what I need to do. Got it. And I want something like that, but I also I'm telling myself this is where I'm telling myself limiting things, right? Like, well, I don't have any equipment. Um, and I'm not gonna lie, I don't necessarily want to run here because it's hot. And when I go up in the mountains, is mountainous. I'll be doing a lot of hiking though. Like, y'all, I'm so excited about going to the mountains. I'm gonna be near Chiripo Mountain, and that's like it's a really tall mountain, and I can go hike up it, and I'm gonna do that. I don't know how, but I'm gonna do it. You have to like have a porter help you, and you can like hike up to a base camp, and then you wake up really early, and then you hike up, and you can even see the sunrise. Oh. So that's what I want to do because I like that stuff. But, if I'm just laying around all the time, then I won't be able to do that hike. And eventually, I don't want to become a version of me that didn't do anything all the time because I chose to work all the time so that when I do have time to do a thing that my body just says no. I don't want to do that. I've had too many times in my life where I can't move like I want to move. And so I want to be as physically fit. It sounded like my dad. As I can. I want to be able to like be an elder version of myself and be able to bend over and put my shoes on. I want to be able to pick up something and put it on a shelf over my head, and if we don't allow ourselves all these different movements, if all I do is walk, well, I'm only strengthening muscles in a certain way, or if I only lift weights, I'm actually not allowing the full extension of my, say, muscles, and then it's easy to get an injury if something happens. And it's a dimension of wellness, so why can't we? And it's interesting because, it's not about how we should look or how fast we should run or how far we should walk or how much we can lift or we need to move for X many minutes a day because everybody has another opinion on that. It's like, nah, man, like if we could spend every day having one of the things that we focus on be our physical and move our body in a way that's just because we can, because I can go for a walk, I'm gonna. Because I can pick up these weights and put them down. Because I can dance. Because I can stretch. I'm going to because I can. And then that goes back to the gratitude. Then whenever we're doing the thing, so it's a body, mind, spirit thing, although it seems very just physical, it helps our mind and it helps our spirit because then if we're doing it like, oh my God, I can do this. I'm doing this because I can. What? We feel so much more gratitude. I feel so much more gratitude when I'm walking, and I don't care where I'm walking, when I just let my mind go down the rabbit hole of, oh my God, I can do this. I feel really blessed. I feel really grateful. I feel really fortunate. I feel really privileged because I can do these things. And no matter what physical body you're in, you can do something. You may not be able to stand on one foot or go for a run. You may not be able to go climb a mountain or ride a bike, and that's okay, but you can do something with your body because you're still here and you're still alive. And so using that gift just for that reason, it's because it's a gift. I think it's a gift. So enjoy your physical body, enjoy trying new things. Let me know in the comments what you try. If you try brushing your teeth with your left hand or your non-dominant hand, or if you try standing on one foot, or if you try dancing, or if you try running and you've been a walker, if you try walking and you've been a runner, like if you try to lift weights or whatever it is, like let me know what new things you're trying because it inspires me and gives me ideas for myself. So, yeah, that's what I wanted to share. So, I hope that you enjoy the rest of this day, enjoy your body, enjoy your mind, and just be aware if it tells you that you don't deserve to move or that you can't, let your body tell you. If you try to lift a 50-pound weight and your body says, I can't do it, then you put it down and you try a lighter weight one. It's easy. But if you just look at all the weights and your mind says, nope, we can't do any of that. And the body might be like, I mean, can I at least try? I can try the 3-pounder, like just give it a shot. And that's something else. I'll say this and I'll leave. But I used to do a lot of kickboxing, and so at my house I have a lot of free weights. I have a lot of dumbbells, and I have like 2-pound ones up to like 15 or 20-pound ones. And what I really like to do is use those like 3 or 5 pounders and just like do something for a long time. And I'm like, that was a lot. Or I will like punch with like 5 pounders And eventually I'm like, God, yeah, feel that. Get it, girl. So anyway, yeah. Love your body. It's the only one you get. We've put it through the ringer so far. Let's love it. Let's move it. Let's play with it. Let's dance it. Let's stretch it. Just let's appreciate it. So I love you so much. Take care of yourselves and each other, and I will see you all soon.